careful. You might learn something.
Let's go.
You are now tuned in to the Factual Opinions Podcast with your hosts. I am Pharaoh. Straight facts.
What's up, world? This is your humble and gracious host. I am Pharaoh, checking in for season 5, episode 23, called it Keep That Energy. Not even going to explain why I'm entitling this episode that. Just let it marinate. I am joined this episode by my dear friend who I've known more years than I've not known him, the one and only Jeremy Triggs. And the vice pres of Factual Opinions Podcast just pulled up, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Phil West, the best beat.
What's going on, brothers? What's going on,
my
man?
brother?
We will be without the services of the Brown Bruce Wayne, away handling business. Y'all say a prayer for him. But we will be joined by G Money, a.k.a. Will Johnson, at some point in the episode. He wanted me to not discuss Joe Burrow until he joined the show. So we're going to skip around.
We need to wait on that one. Yeah.
He should be free by now.
Well, he said that unfortunately he was cleaning up some grade issues from some of his players at my beloved alma mater. So,
well, we got a bunch of those, but it's okay.
I think that's every school right now.
We on the run on the court though.
We can
That's good.
We can jump around a little bit because now that we got two resident hoopers here, I can start with my go New York, go New York, go New York, go New York, go. Okay, so if you're unaware, the New York Knicks won the NBA in-season tournament cup, defeating Wemby and the San Antonio Spurs. Josh Hart got a little too frisky for my liking after the game. I don't know what.
Fine, bro. They need to find him. That was sexual harassment, bro. They need to find him.
Well, I'm happy that the Knicks have won some kind of championship at this point. It's been since 1973 since they won the NBA title. So that's why I've decked out in all my Knick gear celebrating meaningless in-season tournament, but at least they get paid for it. I don't know what happened with Triggs just now.
Yeah, they get paid. Yeah, they get paid for it. They get, what is it, $500,000 for the winner?
Yeah.
Everybody on the team? Coaches, I think the coaches is a little different, but yeah, I think that's what it is.
Extra $500K to do something that they already get paid an exorbitant amount of money to do and should want to do on GP. But the NBA came up with this as an added incentive for the beginning stages of the season to make guys want to play, just like the All-Star game has been tweaked a little bit. And
So-
go ahead, Brother Tree.
So my question to you is, are you satisfied with the NBA Cup, or would you rather have a championship?
I'm not satisfied with the NBA Cup. I just, again, take anything that I can. Yeah, you got to remember, last year the Knicks went back to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. So, yeah, I'll take what I can get at this point. But no, we have to put it together and make a run with Mike Brown, the new head coach, and do some damage in the postseason. I mean, this is the year for the New York Knicks, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, this their year, this their chance to get a ring.
Nate's boy is out, Jason Tatum. You got the new Reggie Miller and Tyrese Halliburton in Indiana. This out.
They beat your Knicks real bad right now, though. I think Knicks got a Vegas hangover right now. And they're damn near everybody out. Brunson, I think, playing, and Mikal Bridges, you know, he got the streak. He playing. I think that's it. Out of the starters, Cat sitting, Hart sitting.
Well, they need a little rest. They just played their hearts out. They just played their hearts out and won. They need a little rest. This is a long marathon, 82-game season. So I hope, as Trigg said, they're not content and they are able to get some guys some rest and get right back to playing some basketball, because it's not going to be easy, even with those injuries that I just mentioned. There are people that are going to be on their heels, like the Cavaliers, Pistons, and other hungry, teams. So New York is still going to have to go out and play and take it.
Well, see how it roll.
And did you see yesterday, Jizzle James made his return?
Jizzle James made his return.
Bearcat.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'm happy for the kid.
Yeah, man. He went through a lot of personal stuff in the offseason.
Yeah. He cut off the dreads, came back with the business-like cut.
Yeah, I'm happy for the kid. When I seen the announcement the other day, I was happy for the kid. You know.
Yeah. So he I'll give y'all some inside news from front office news. Basically, he got back on the roster due to the one kid that it was the foreign kid that they got from another country, but he couldn't get medically cleared, so he ended up going back, and that freed up a spot for Jizzle James. That's courtesy of Jesse. So Jesse gave me
Shout
that
out to JT.
JT gave me that
Smith
earlier today.
Yeah,
they need better guard play.
Yeah, for sure. Thomas ain't it, man. I just ain't never been a Thomas fan, man.
Well, I mean, I'm glad we brought this up because I was going to ask my brother about this, but we went live. What is going on in Clifton for our basketball program?
You want me to be real or you want me to be politically correct?
I need you to be real, brother, because I need to know because I watched them early and I seen some things, and then I didn't get a chance to watch the shootout because I was either in practice or we had a game, one of the two. But I seen the score, and I was really surprised that Xavier team beat UC. I could not believe it.
I was too.
I know matchups. I know timing and matchups happen, but with the talent that's supposed to be on Calhoun Avenue versus Victory Parkway and Dana is night and day, and I just cannot believe that.
Yeah, honestly, even more so of a discrepancy than back in the day when we watched that matchup. Well, I'm going to be real because, see, as you all know, and many of the followers that tune into the program know, I got a lot of connections down in Clifton, a lot of former players, a lot of current people that I've had on the show that are still there. So I won't mention anybody a name, but I have these conversations behind, the scenes, and nobody is happy in Clifton right now.
Nope.
People that grew up in our era, especially, I know that Lance McAllister has been going in on Wes Miller pretty much on a daily basis with little rants here and there, but he's not lying though. One thing that you can do to piss a Cincinnati sports fan off, particularly a UC basketball fan, is to be an outsider and come in and try to tell us what UC basketball is. We already know what University of Cincinnati basketball is. And by and large, and I've been one of his most patient supporters, you're not doing that. You're not putting University of Cincinnati. He named people. I mean, we don't have to go down the list. The Kmart's, the Max Seals, the James Whites, the Danny Fortsons, Ruben Patterson, Melvin Levitt, Steve Logan, Kenny Satterfield, DeMar Johnsons of the world.
And Dirty.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. We can do this all day. And by the way, Nate, go ahead and let Armin Kirkland know I'm ready when he's ready.
Okay, yeah, I'll tell him. I hit him up. I hit him up after we get off here.
I don't want to say that Wes can't coach, but it's just not working. He's a hell of a recruiter. I think that the ultimatum should be there at the end of the season, and I hate doing this because I don't want to call for anybody's job necessarily, but if you finish this season, this would be 5 years, 5 no NCAA tournament appearances.
He's going to the NCAAs this year, man. Don't count us out.
Everybody talked about him, but we haven't been since Mick Cronin was here.
And Mick's still doing a job out in Southern California.
Mick's been to a Final Four out in Southern California.
Yeah, he has.
Mick's still doing a job out there.
Still doing the due diligence. I'm gonna say this too. I'm gonna say this on from the inside sources I done got and the talks I done had. They kind of knew something was up before the season started about him and his camaraderie with his team. You got the new guys. You had the 4-star coming in. You had the other couple transfers coming in, but a lot of people just felt like he didn't earn the respect from a lot of them players. So that was the main issue that they were talking about at the beginning of the season was, these kids ain't gonna respect him as a coach.
Well, unless he does it behind closed doors, I see Wes as one of those, new school, always patting you on the butt, players, coaches, they call them, not really getting into them, which can lead to that. Now, no, you can't really coach like Hugs used to or Bill Parcells, back in the day, but there needs to be a little bit more sternness. I won't even go as far as saying a disciplinarian, but I'm gonna just throw it out there. Okay, first of all, the only reason Jizzle James is back on the court is because of the way the season started. We can talk about who's ineligible or what happened. They brought Jizzle back because they need him. And even though yesterday it was against Alabama State, you could still see, as I was trying to explain to my man Cam Chancellor, just what the infusion of pure talent does on a team. And somebody that does have that dog in him, but is not afraid to take that shot. And more importantly, Jizzle is one of a few who can create his own shot.
For sure.
Now, I do like the kid Baba Miller from overseas. He's been dogging, but listen, he came back out of necessity, speaking of Jizzle. So that was something that Wes Miller had to do. He hears the noise around campus, as you were saying, around the city. He knows that he's on the hot seat. He has to. You got 5 years and no NCAA tournament appearances. And I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there because the other people, and like I said, we've had a lot of them on the show. Brother Terry Nelson, C. Blunt has been on here before. And shout out to them. I'm so proud of them with their new podcast and the stuff that they're doing on and off the court. But seriously, I would like to see somebody from that era in the like of Nick Van Exel, Eric Martin, somebody who knows what it takes to get Bearcats basketball back to what it was. There's an old saying sometimes, to know where you're going, you got to know where you've been.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And I think that's gotten lost because even in administration right now, there's not a lot of people that were there when UC basketball was at its peak. They don't understand the type of revenue that would bring back to the school, what that would do for enrollment on the academic side of things. There's a lot of incentives for UC basketball to get back to where it needs to get. And I just think we'll let this season play out like Trig said. But if they finish with no NCAA tournament, I'm sorry, West has to go.
Yep. I agree.
I was I'm a big X's and O's guy. And I like Wes. I think Wes is a decent coach. But I went to a couple basketball games last year, and down the stretch, I was really scratching my head with some of the things that he was doing. I know I'm not there Sunday through Sunday with practice and things like that, but some of the things down the stretch really made me scratch my head. And they ended up losing the 2 or 3 games that we went to.
You're talking about substitution wise?
Not necessarily substitution wise, but just like some executional things. I just feel like, yes, one game was a substitutional thing, but like it just some executional things. So where like if you call a timeout and you have an ATO after a timeout and then you don't execute that I don't necessarily think that's a player thing.
No, it's not.
Like I feel like because the best coaches in the country, when they come out of an ATO, they execute. And so when I watched it, just sitting there being a fan, and I'm watching it, and then it's like, wow, they don't execute after it. Like you call a timeout and you have something drawn up and then you don't execute it. And to me, execution is not making a bucket. The execution is what it looks like while it's being ran.
Yeah.
And you have guys that are 18, between the age of 18 and 26, that aren't executing the play in the correct way. Because you can execute it and then miss a shot. I can understand that. All shots don't go in, but there's no way you can call a timeout and then you don't get a quality shot after ATO. Like, and those type of things really made me scratch my head.
Look, though. That's really what. Just how you paying attention to it is. That's how my eye was working too. I've seen it numerous times, and I'm like, that just wasn't a smart move or a smart play.
Let's say you
like
talking
they're not
about
even running through. Like they're not running through the offense. They just doing what they trying to do.
You made a good point.
Lost in the possession.
They don't have to always make the bucket, although I would like to see more shot makers out on the court for the Bearcats. But as Charles Barkley would say, the operation was a success, but the patient died. I could take that in certain instances versus, as you're mentioning, something that just doesn't look right, X's and O's, or just the deer in the headlights look. Because I tell you, me and Cam were down there at the Louisville game, down there at Heritage Bank Center, and you could tell when Louisville started to go on their run in the second half. We both said it was like, oh, this game is over. Like Louisville's about to take off, and he did not have an answer at all. And that is what bothers me. And I ain't just talking about college basketball, even in college football, to be paid what they are these days and to have the amount of resources that they have. In certain instances, I don't even mind you taking the L, but just looking like you just totally outwitted, outmatched. I don't have an answer. I don't know what to do. No, you can't. Not especially with certain jobs. I don't like it when it don't happen often. I don't like it when it happens with Ryan Day up there in Columbus. I don't like watching it with Wes Miller down here. You got to try something.
Yeah.
Because when you have that deer in the headlight looks and it looks like you don't know what you're doing, that translates to the players too. And they can sense that because they're closer than us to the action.
Yeah, that's a fact. Hold on, let me say this. Tony, I don't know what you talk about, but Xavier is on a decline. They just got popped by Creighton at home by 20. I don't know what. That's how I know you ain't watching no sports last night. That's how I know you ain't watching no sports.
Yeah.
Xavier and my inside source is the announcer, and he's telling me Xavier's
cheap money
is terrible. Byron Larkin has told me he's terrible. They're terrible. So
shout out to Byron Larkin, Xavier's all-time leading scorer in program history, the only Xavier Musketeer that I have allowed on my program ever.
Somebody else want to come on here too. They mad about it. I'll tell you off air.
Okay. I've softened my stance a little bit. What's going on, G Money? Can't hear you. You got your mic muted.
What's going down?
Hopefully not my player's GPA, man. What we got going on, man?
Man.
The debauchery over there, huh?
We working.
Okay.
Man, we didn't want 4 in a row, man. We ain't talking about
man. We ain't saying, hey, I just saying it.
Hey, the best ability is availability.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Sure. We gonna be available, man. We available, man. We available.
No, we were just talking about Jizzle James returning to the Bearcats yesterday, and there were official reasons why, as Nate read off, but we all know what it is. Your boy was under heat.
But then too, guys, think about it. At 18, 19 years old, what would we have been with $1 million or 750,000?
For sure.
Part of me wants to say I would have handled it better than Jizzle James, but knowing myself, I probably wouldn't have.
But see, this the thing
but
about
I came from
Jizzle.
less means as him. Let's not act like he was the normal situation. Like
that's the thing. That's the things he was into in college. He was into in high school.
Yeah, he was already.
It just got enhanced when he got his own money.
I don't know. I think we all came from foundations that would have had us a little more in line than that, man. We was taught not to ruin the bag. Don't trick yourself out of that situation. Don't mess up the money. Don't mess up the opportunity.
Well, I think I can speak collectively for all of it. We all didn't have the bag coming out of high school. So that would have been the main thing, is not wanting to mess that up and hang on to that. I think what happens occasionally, and I don't know Jizzle personally, so I'm not trying to overanalyze anything, but coming from a situation of means and your dad being the Hall of Fame running back, Edgerrin James, who, by all intents and purposes that I know, took care of his money and has provided, a stable environment and upbringing for him. there's no reason for that, man. But we all go through things personally. I think it was deeper than just what was even reported. Jizzle had some family issues and some other things that he wasn't handling well in the spotlight. So maybe he did need to take a step away. And I'm honestly glad that they did give him a second chance, because I joked about this, but this is the truth. You know, the era we came up in UC basketball, things like this got fixed. And Jizzle would have never been dismissed from the program to begin with under Huggins. It would have got taken care of. Now, you can argue whether that's good or bad, but
it also wasn't as many cameras, and you can keep stuff on the low a little better back then.
Yeah.
It's too much access to everything now.
Yeah.
So what's the answer, Will? Because the last time we were on last week and I hinted at what I said, you turned the camera off like you famously do now. Like, y'all know how Jada pulls, his hat down, his flag. Will's thing is he turns off the camera when I start talking about something spicy or that might have a conflict of interest for him. I think it's Eric Martin or Nick Van Exel is the answer. I'm just being blunt about it, but
I mean, I don't know, to be honest, man. You got to get someone that I always feel like you got to get someone who loves the spot, who loves the organization, who loves the place where they're at. You got to have that, because that's going to give of course, the fans and everybody, but that's also going to give the program someone who is extremely, extremely locked in and dedicated. It's not necessarily, once success starts to happen, be fascinated with different opportunities. So that's another thing that be working.
I just named.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't see that being an issue. This is my thing. No matter who is the face, it's all about who you surround them with. So who's going to be on the staff? Because especially in college, the staff is key. The staff is key.
One of the things Lance McAllister keeps poking fun at, I should say, is he keeps saying Wes Miller and his 18 assistant coaches over there seem to be doing nothing. So you're right, Will. And I'm not necessarily agreeing with him in that aspect, because I know those people are working and doing the best they can to right the ship there. But what I am going to say is the staff is key. You got to make sure you got the right people support you.
You got to make sure you got the right staff. Whoa.
Cheers, my brother. Cheers.
Not with that damn mug that he just pulled up. So before we get to the topic that Will wants to talk about,
Will want to talk about the topic. Will want to talk about. Hey, Nate, he crazy, man.
I wanted Triggs back on here anyway. He's been ducking me for a long time, just in general, because his brother said he wanted to be part of the fold on at least a semi-regular basis. I said, you my brother, you got to open it. Invite, man.
I love being on here.
I said the best thing would be for a Buckeye supporter to shut the hell up right now and give the floor to a Michigan Wolverines supporter and allow him to vouch for this despicable behavior and pattern of lying, cheating, dishonesty, and just outright disgrace to the Big Ten as a whole and to the university itself. I remember when being a Michigan man used to mean something.
Hey, man, listen here. First of all, you're not going to talk about Michigan like these things are going across the country. Okay?
Just came out about Ohio.
I got a feeling he might have a sex tape out there or something.
Secondly, he messed up.
I didn't talk about it last week because it literally came in as we were coming on air, right, Will?
He went about his business in the wrong way. You don't lay your eggs where you make your money.
That's a big no-no.
That's an understatement, but very true. Well, let me say something, boys and girls. When you're married with 3 kids, it's a no-no anyway. we can get into the particulars about why, or who it was, or her role. I've had other people even say ignorant stuff about bringing race into it. Look, that has nothing to do. It wouldn't have been excusable regardless of who the participants were. Just like it wasn't excusable with Udoka up there in Boston. He was dating the great Nia Long, which still baffles me on how you. Never mind.
Hey, but hold on real quick. I'm sorry to mess up your soliloquy.
My soliloquy.
What did? Who was Udoka messing with?
Nia Long.
He was in a long-term relationship.
I know with Nia Long, but who did he get caught up with?
A staffer, a fellow Boston Celtics employee.
Where my camera at?
Of what descent?
Look, we can't fall for the low-hanging fruit every time and bring that in there. Like, okay, do we need to bring Dr. Umar on here, as well? Like,
let's go.
Would it have made it acceptable if it was done with the Nubian goddess? Like, come on, y'all. Like, let's be adults here. Like,
we're not saying it would have been acceptable. We're just saying the trend. The trend. We're not saying it's acceptable. We're not condoning what he did. We're all saying that he was wrong.
Say what?
But we're saying the trend.
It starts and ends with him. Because we all know Brother Charles Lawrence.
Absolutely.
That's my brother. We had a long conversation about it. And it was funny because Charles usually don't get like too controversial, but he brought up the same thing that you all did. And he did it in a very way that's not Charles, because y'all know Charles, like he's jovial, joking around and stuff. And I won't put him on blast, but he was basically saying the same thing. He was emphasizing the racial component to it as if that had anything to do with it. And I'm like, listen, if you're moving sloppy, you're moving sloppy. If you're endangering your work environment, you're endangering your work environment. You got to know how to separate business and pleasure if you're going to be doing some foul stuff anyway. Let's just start there. And from what I heard, because I did a lot of research afterwards, because I didn't want to speak on it last week until I got, my facts in order. From what I heard, they didn't do a good job or even really try to cover it up on campus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard the same thing. I didn't like that when I heard that.
And what made me upset, even more so, was where my brain goes with stuff like that. I'm like, all right, if they didn't do a good job of covering stuff up to begin with, and it was very obvious, which a lot of those situations do become that on campus, why did y'all fire this man now? We know Triggs what happened, and somebody told him to let her go, and he wound up firing her, and that was her revenge or whatnot. But Michigan is one of those mafia programs, just like my Buckeyes and a few of the other blue bloods. Y'all knew this was happening already. That black man lost to Ohio State, and all of a sudden it became real convenient.
Threw it all the way under the bus.
Was that what it was?
I just think for them to act the way that they did, knowing this already leading up, and if it was already being investigated, all I'm saying is it made it a lot easier decision. No, I'm not saying they fired him just because he lost to Ohio State.
Phil P, gotta hold on. We ain't got there yet.
What?
Wait.
We ain't got where?
We ain't talked about. We ain't got to the nation.
Please, please stay, because we're getting ready to transition and go there. If y'all don't know who I'm talking about the lovely Montgomery Tees, who was one of the founding members of Factual Opinions podcast when it was just me, her, and Captain Kurt. So I'm glad, because I meant to tag her. Nate, did you tag everybody?
I'm not tagging anybody. Hold on, let me get to it.
Please start tagging people. So I'm glad you tuned in. We're going to get to that for you. I promise you. So either way, Triggs, you got a dirty athletic program. I don't like the way they did the Fab Five. All right. I don't like what they did to Juwan Howard. There's a pattern.
Juwan started getting out of line.
there's a pattern of not taking care of your own. They cheated. You know that, just like I know that. Coach Harbaugh,
NCAA found no evidence of that
because Harbaugh refused to turn over his damn laptop and his cell phone, and then ran off to the NFL.
Well, they said
you wouldn't either.
Well, they said in the court of law, you got to, you know what I mean, you got to be caught. He didn't get caught in the court of law, so
man, I didn't
that's accusation.
And you wouldn't have turned yours in either.
I've been got disciplined and held accountable for a lot of stuff that at best was circumstantial evidence. So I don't want to hear that.
Did you fight it?
As much as I could, but sometimes, sometimes what they say, you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them.
Hey man, crazy man.
Sometimes it's better.
He off the chain, man.
Sometimes it's just better to move on, and I hate that because y'all know I'm a go against the grain type person, but sometimes it is. Why did Sharon Moore delete 52 texts to Connor Stallions the day that the story was released?
Did you understand the lifestyle he was living?
I was about to say, I understand why he deleted the stuff now.
Deleting text was the norm.
That makes sense. I'm surprised he ain't power reset that.
Yeah, he did a hard reset on that iPhone.
So yeah, so that make a lot of sense now.
Where there's smoke, there's fire. And I hate that a program of Michigan's caliber. Now I'm actually giving a backhanded compliment here. I hate that a program of historical relevance to the degree that the University of Michigan had to cheat to become relevant again in college football. That just really grinds my gear. See, you shake your head, but you know it's the truth. Because y'all spent 2 decades being irrelevant after you wrongfully fired Lloyd Carr.
Even after they got rid of Connor Stallions, we still put belt the ass to y'all. So what does that mean?
The damage had already been done.
It wasn't no damage.
What about recruiting violations that you used the recruiting dead time to get some of those players to quote unquote put belt to ass?
And we're not going to make this a conversation about me and you. We got a whole crowd.
We don't want to go there. Okay, so
because we can just exit other gentlemen out and then we can just go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like I told you, I don't turn my back on my people when they down. I told you that the other day.
That's fine, but admit that you have a dirty program.
Did anybody say anything about the program down in Tuscaloosa? No.
Oh, now we
wait a minute.
Now we throwing other people under the bus. This is crazy.
I've talked about Tuscaloosa.
This is the twilight zone.
No. I've talked about Tuscaloosa.
I had to go re-up on my libations because I knew this was gonna be crazy today.
Did you tag Dwan? Speaking of Tuscaloosa,
yeah, I did. I just tagged Dwan.
Okay. And shout out to cousin Bernard before I get into this because I know he down there in Birmingham be pissed off when I say this. I've talked about the admission standards at the University of Alabama and so forth, and some of the stuff that I know we'll get there. We'll pivot back to college football. This is what everybody wants to talk about.
Thank you.
Our beloved Cincinnati Bengals. I'm a Bengals fan. I ain't even a Bengals fan. I'm a Bengals fan. I grew up in the dysfunction. Okay, I'm from the Dave Shula, David Klingler, Scott Mitchell, Neil O'Donnell, Gus Frerotte, Harold Green, Derek Finner, Steve Tovar era. I lived that, and they were my favorites then, and they my favorites now. So I've seen 10 times worse, but I'm going to do something that I promised to do earlier. Yep, we right here, T. I'm going to let Will and I'm going to let Nate go, and I'm going to shut the hell up. I got a retort already, but I want y'all to talk.
What are we talking about?
You tell me why it's acceptable for this level of vitriol, hate, and Judas-like betrayal to the Messiah of Cincinnati Bengals football. Go ahead.
Hey, man. I can't even go back and forth with nobody who intro Joe Burrow like that. That is crazy, bro. He is a human being, bro.
He is easily, I'm giving respect to Munoz when I say this. He is easily the second most important player ever drafted to this franchise.
So
Some
listen
people
here.
would argue if he was born in the age bracket that we were, 85 through 87 or afterwards, he might be the most important player drafted to the franchise. No disrespect to Ocho or Corey Dillon or Willie Anderson or nobody else I love.
Big facts. Listen here, though. Our back and forth and our tips ain't got nothing to do with what you're talking about as it relates to Joe Burrow.
Well, please explain, because Tease and everybody else wants to hear why.
He got on. Okay, first and foremost,
let's start. Hold on. Let's start with the conversation. What we was talking about him being accountable of him being a player.
I'm about to get there. I gotta start with the Buffalo game because he was having a whole bunch of fun when he was playing Baltimore. He was having a whole bunch of fun playing Buffalo into the fourth quarter. And he made a bad play. He made a bad play and the defender capitalized on it. And then the second interception was nothing more. He threw a pass, got tipped, interception. That happens all the time. And he had to sit there with the sole responsibility that his mess-ups caused that L. And instead of going to the podium and being like, hey, man, you know what? I made a bad play. Made this, that, and other. He had the opportunity to just take full accountability. He didn't. Then, a couple of days later, he sits there and then he talks about not having fun and all of this other stuff. And it came across like he didn't want to be a Cincinnati Bengal, nor did he want to play quarterback for this franchise. He wanted to get out of Cincinnati. That's how it came across. Now, could we be wrong? 1,000%. We could be wrong, but that's how it came across. And instead of seeing all of the headlines, because he get them, all of the headlines, this, that, and other, and coming down and just saying, hey, man, my comments had nothing to do with not wanting to be a Bengal, not wanting to be wanting to be in Cincinnati, had everything to do with my injury or whatever the case may be. He let it build up. He let it bubble. He did this, that, and other. Then you come out against the Ravens and have your worst game. In my opinion, it's cool. You had a bad game. You had a bad game, Joe. It happens to us all. You had a bad game. My issue with you comes in is, why can't we hold him accountable for the things that he say? Or when he have a bad performance? No great has ever been exempt from accountability. Yeah. I don't know a great. I don't know a great player who has ever been exempt from accountability. I know one, but even he, and the one I'm talking about is LeBron. Like, even he has been caused and responsible and been held to the fire. Why can't we ever do that with Joe? That don't mean we don't like him. That don't mean that he's not great. And if he does have issues with the franchise and he wants them to do something different, I agree. I agree with how he feels. But as a leader, you don't get to have a bad game or have two bad games and then start playing victim. You ain't played victim all these other times. You ain't get up here when the offensive line was horrible. You ain't get up here and say, man, I ain't happy. I am this, that, and other. You took full accountability. You ain't never make excuses. Now you do. And as the quarterback position was the most valuable position in all of sports. We all can agree to that. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, he don't get the opportunity. He's a leader. He's the face of the franchise. In certain cases, you got to be politically correct. In certain cases, you got to stand up there and take accountability, even if you're not 100% to blame. You gotta say things a certain way. That's why they have media training. That's why they have all of these things. Joe can be told that you played bad. Joe can be told that, hey man, you shouldn't have said that like that. That wasn't the right thing. That wasn't the right thing to say. And if that's the case, then just stand on it. Don't act like it's this, that, and other, and we just pulling this out of the thin air. It's what you said. It's how you came across. It's the things that you've done in the past 2 weeks is why people are questioning if you want to be a Cincinnati Bengal. And because I'm gonna let you see, because I see you itch, you keep playing with the Knick hat, and it's mighty fine that you wear the Knick outfit after y'all beat my Spurs, but it's cool. But then,
I forgot you're a Spurs friend like Tone.
But then though, The Bengals have given Joe Burrow everything he wanted thus far. He wanted T and Jamar. They got him T and Jamar. He wanted to trade to get more money. They got trade. They wanted the indoor facility. Get the indoor facility. Like everything that Joe has wanted, the Bengals have gave it to him thus far. Now, if he say that he don't want that and he want Duke gone too, I'm 100%. I'm with him. I am with him. But as the leader and as the face of the franchise, you got to move a certain way. You got to move in a way that is, you got to be accountable. It's like, bro, you a leader of the team. You got to take the blame for some stuff because you're going to get praised for certain things that you shouldn't get praised for. They beat Cleveland this year. At the beginning of the year, Joe didn't have a great game.
Yep.
But that win went on Joe Burrow's record.
Mm-hmm.
The defense played great against Baltimore. You know what everybody said? You see what happened when Joe Burrow get here? The defense start playing better, doing all this other stuff, this, that, and other. So he getting praised for everything. Everything he's getting praised for. Hey, man, as the leader, when things ain't going right, you got to take blame, especially when it's your fault. Like, I really wish if they would have lost that game and he ain't throw those interceptions, I really want to know what that press conference would have been like.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to know what that press conference would have been like.
I'm gonna say this. We was all in that chat. We was talking. I really didn't say anything because I wanted to see what was gonna happen after the fact that those comments came out. So I waited. He finally said something. What was it, like 2 days later? He finally said something about it. So my thing
I was good with it. I was good. After he said something about it, even though it was 3 days late, I was cool with it.
3 days later, he said something. So my thing is, in regards to this, what was said to him within those 3 days? Like Will just said, somebody in the media or somebody be like, hey, bro, you got to address this. You can't just lead us in the win like this. So he finally came out and said something or whatever. But the thing is, it's just looking like, I don't know. I felt like that was kind of an escape, him saying that I got to have fun and all this. That's kind of how I felt about it. I'm like, well, but at the same time, you came in, you've been injured. We know you were injured. We know you've been through what you've been through. And then you had that bad game. It's cool to say, like Will just said, it's cool to say you had a bad game. It's cool to say that. But at the same time, you can't come out and say that before saying I had a bad game. And then another thing is, that's where we went. We kind of pivot away from this part, and we start talking about Al posted a thing about the snow, about them not cleaning seats off. So the thing is, when we pivot there, I realized, like, hey, this is something we've been dealing with for numerous years. This ain't the first go around about this. So we know how the Browns get down. The Browns go cut their corners the best they can to minimize the pay they got to give out. So, but the thing at the same time, this put them under the radar to a different level. Because if you realize, I've been watching sports the last 3 days ever since the game. Ever since Sunday. I've been watching the sports things and everything, and everything's keep dropping. Everything keep dropping. Everybody, and I ain't never seen the Bengals this much on a platform in a while. Ever since we wasn't even on a platform this much when we went to the Super Bowl, to be honest. They're talking about our negatives more than our positives. And
feeding into it.
And no, I'm not. Hold on. You can't say, I'm observing. I ain't fed into nothing. I've been listening to you. I've been listening to Will. I'm not picking no sides. I'm saying what I'm saying because you're right, but you're right as well. But at the same time, there's still a problem with this organization. That's my big issue. We have a problem with our organization. That's the biggest problem we have. Okay. It ain't just Joe Burrow. It ain't just the Bengals. It's the people running the Bengals.
Okay. Hey, Alex, I ain't going to shut up while you're talking either.
Alex, you did good, though. You held off long enough. You did good.
Okay. So,
go and get your notes.
I've listened to this jargon back. Oh, I don't have notes. It's all up here.
Got to be jargon.
Triggs, I don't know how you feel about that. Because Triggs used to reach out to me and ask me about some of these scenarios that would go on with our beloved Bengals and so forth. I still just find it to be outright treason that anybody would list Joe Burrow in the top 5 lists or reasons of things that are going wrong or why with this organization. I sat down there in January of 2022 in the freezing cold and watched this man lead this organization to something that no one could since January of 1991. We were all little kids. We all hadn't reached 2nd or 3rd grade at that point when the great Paul Brown passed later that year in August of 1991. And we had to go our entire kindergarten through 12th grade years without the Bengals even making it to the playoffs. Let alone afterwards in the Marvin Lewis era when respectability was restored and we went 0-7 during the playoffs. We saw something spearheaded by this young man that many of us thought we might die and leave this planet without seeing. And y'all have the audacity for this man that fights back off of an injury that should have sidelined him for the rest of the year, had no reason to come back to a 3-win team that, let's be honest about it, wasn't going anywhere, ain't going to accomplish nothing this year, other than his love for the game, wanting to get back out there as a football player, like he said, earn his just due and his money and play with his teammates. He comes out on Thanksgiving, and yes, the defense finally had let's say an NFL level game and performance against Lamar Jackson, but nobody, as I said then, and I stand on that, could play to the level that Joe Burrow did, not Josh Allen, not any of these other quarterbacks that they want to hype up off missing 9 consecutive games to come back on national TV and outduel a 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson, other than Joe Burrow.
I agree with everything you just said.
I don't give a damn if he is rusty and had a couple bad games. So what? If anybody deserved to have bad games on this damn team, it's Joe Burrow. You want to talk about him getting injured like everybody else around this time? You ran off. You ran off Boomer Esiason. You ran off Boomer Esiason, a 1988 NFL MVP. You ran off Carson Palmer, you ran off Andy Dalton, and now you're trying to do it with the man that took us to the Super Bowl for the first time since 1988. The man that is the reason why we're all upset right now, because we have damn expectations right now that we didn't have for most of our adult lives until he got here. If anybody deserves to F up right now without the damn town turning on him, it's Joe Burrow. That's what
but so
nobody's turned
on him.
And I agree with you. I agree with what you're saying, but
I do too.
But
we all do.
When you are a leader, you got to take some accountability for what your performance is, because as the fans have called him, Joe 2.0 came in and with the weapons that he has downtown, came in and did an exceptional job. And he didn't get up on the podium and do that.
It wasn't just the weapons that he has. And Brother Clarence said, man, I was just debating with somebody and told me that the 24 class is more talented than the 20. Nonsense. Do you think the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs best their franchise quarterbacks know they're going to play because they love the game of football? Well, I've seen Lamar. Well, I won't do that because I love Lamar Jackson except for 2 times a year when he plays the Cincinnati Bengals. So I won't get into that. I'll just say that anybody that comes from the era that Joe and some of these other cats do, if they can play, they're going to be out there. They're just that much of a competitor. They're just, that much of a for the most part, team guy, which is why players want to break their neck for him. Joe hangs in the pocket. sometimes and takes unnecessary hits and stuff because he's not scared of the rush and because he wants to make that extra play out on the field. But I also bring up
he's about to piss Alex off.
He said, imagine being working, somebody say your boss got the right to fuck up. Well, I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I've told my bosses when they fucked up for better or worse. So,
but our beef ain't with
and all three of these gentlemen know that.
With Joe Burrow.
Our beef ain't with Joe Burrow.
Because I want to answer that directly. All three of these gentlemen can vouch for that when it comes to me, right?
Yes, Alex.
Yeah.
I'm in the situation that I'm in now, to be honest. But
look, our beef, it was never with Joe Burrow having a bad game. It wasn't with him fighting to want to come back. We all rock and respect that about Joe. Nobody ever said Joe was a bad quarterback. Nobody ever said anything like that. All we said was you can't get on that podium and say the things that you have said and then let those things linger, even if people are interpreting it wrong. Then let it linger until now you realizing that it got blown out of proportion. Get up there and just say you said the wrong thing. Be accountable.
I'm listening, Will. But Tease, that's not what I'm saying. Nobody's saying that it's okay necessarily for first of all, no player is going out there intentionally trying to have a bad game. What I specifically said, because of the highs that he has given us, you want to talk about lows of setting terrible work rates, because of the highs that he has given us and what he has sacrificed and elevated this franchise to be from where it was, particularly before he got here. I said, if anybody's entitled to have a bad game without people going ape shit and acting like he is of the caliber of Andy Dalton, it's Joe Burrow. That's what I said. What I said is quarterbacks we know in the NFL, they usually get too much of the credit when things go well, and they get too much of the blame when things go bad. We know that. But what I have been trying to explain to Will privately in the group chat all week is from a football perspective and playing this game and knowing it and covering it the way I do. I'm not necessarily saying that Will is wrong, but what I'm saying is Joe Burrow nor any franchise quarterback is ever going to get treated the way the 54th man on the roster is. Y'all can forget that. Football is not a democracy. At best, it's a meritocracy.
We agree.
The biggest, strongest, fastest usually will prevail. And at the end of the day, a quarterback is going to get the benefit of the doubt. And he's going to be treated differently because of the value that he offers in playing the most important position on the field.
If Joe don't get out there and say those,
he has lots of bad games. Well, you're the same person, Tease, that got on Facebook and said that Jake Browning was better than Joe Burrow a couple years ago when he strung together a couple games in mop-up duty in meaningless situations. So at the end of the day, he doesn't have more bad games than any other elite quarterback that he often gets compared to. It's just we don't play in a media-friendly market or environment where he gets some of the credit that the other quarterbacks do. Because what everybody's playing, I'm going to say this and I'm going to let y'all get back in. The other part that people locally aren't paying attention to, because I am in the media and know how this works, there are a lot of people that are going to run with this and take this out of context to begin with because they don't want Joe Burrow to be in Cincinnati. They don't want Jamar Chase to be here. They don't want to be here. So any bit of trouble that they can stir up or highlight or bring negative attributes to this organization, and we all know they damn sure do a good job of that on their own, so nobody's excluding that fact either. But anytime a scenario comes up like this goes to what you were saying, Will, when you let it manifest and you don't say anything. And I also don't think that he necessarily should have to go back and clean up everything that he says, but it's part of being careful in the beginning what you say it. But you said that last episode when I didn't even comment on it first because I hadn't seen what was said yet. And you said, I know how the national media is going to take this and where they're going to run with it and where they're going to take it. You said that.
Absolutely. I'm not backing down on any of those things. But what I'm saying is, first and foremost, the fans didn't turn on Joe. If Joe don't get up there and say those comments before that Raven game, if Joe don't get up there and say those comments before that Ravens game, and he had that bad game against the Ravens, he don't get nothing. People gonna let it go. They gonna let it slide. Everybody can have a bad game, but you
How
can't get
is
up
that
there.
horrible use of language that you just used, the beautiful Montgomery tease, taking it from that level to mediocre when you hadn't won a playoff game in 31 years, when you hadn't been to the Super Bowl since 1988? That's not mediocre, but okay. I get what you're saying.
But what I'm saying is Joe has to be accountable for the words that he say. He has to show leadership at all times, whether things are going good or whether things are going bad. He can't sit back and always be quiet. That's the price of leadership. That's the price of being a quarterback. You gotta be the face of the franchise. Ain't nobody asking him to be perfect, but we are asking for him to be a leader. You can't get up there and say those comments and then come and play that game that he played against the Ravens and think everybody gonna be cool. Now we're gonna look at you funny.
Thank you. That is why people are mad more so than anything, being emotional, being fans, and because those comments were followed by that performance on Sunday. That's what it is.
This in the chat all week.
That's what it is.
I said this to you all week, and you wanted to fight me.
Man, I want Tease on here so bad because she was one of the original guest hosts. I've even asked her a couple times.
Man, she got you all off track. She pulling the Tony Gray on you right now.
No, she's not. I want her on. No, she's not. No, she's not. I want her
bro,
on the
I'm out here
show.
spitting some of my best bars, and you paying attention to her.
Because I want her on the show for a reunion tour, man. Like, why can't I have one of my original co-hosts back on the show? She's clearly
talking about the topic, man. We talking about
she's clearly passionate about the Bengals like we all are, and I'm involving her in the show. She's giving her opinion.
You didn't do nothing. You didn't do anything. It wasn't you. It's Alex.
What are we? I am encouraging this dialogue, and now what are you talking about? I want Tease on the show. I'm glad she's participating.
Yeah, she's involved right now. So my thing is, right now, we're beyond Joe Burrow. Let's discuss the Bengals.
Thank you. I got a question.
What's the next move we need to make? That's the question of the day.
Defensive tackle.
So I asked Will.
I asked this question.
I asked Will in the group chat. I said, so okay, you wanted Joe to say what he said last week.
Yes.
And I said, okay, so he got on the podium 2 days late, 3 days late, whatever the hell it happened. He got on there and said that. And what was my next question to retort to you after that, Will?
I forgot because we've been arguing all week. Yeah, all I know is I said, I agree.
So my next comment was he said it, and that changes what about where we are as an organization right now?
It doesn't change.
Can't even get the organization to scrape off the damn snow off the seats, which is an NFL policy and required.
And that's why I said what I said earlier. This is why we're under the radar now. But see, that's a policy of the NFL, and that's above these owners.
Mike didn't care nothing about them seats. What's wrong with y'all?
Mike ain't think nobody was showing up on.
What? Tickets was $15. You think nobody was coming down there?
It was cold.
You can't think nobody's going to that game on Sunday. It's cold.
But see, but hold on real quick. But this is why Joe can't say those comments, right? This is exactly why. Because if a player is trying to come to Cincinnati or looking at Cincinnati as a viable option, they're coming here because of Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. If Joe gets up there and he sounds uncertain about his future here in Cincinnati, potential free agents or anything that they're going to do is not going to look at Cincinnati as a viable option if he's not happy. That's why you can't go out there and say things like that.
Meant that, though. I thought it was okay for him to say, you know what, man, the last couple of years ain't been fun. We've been losing. I've been hurt, 2 out of the last 3 seasons.
So once you watch it get spun out of control as a leader, you either got to sit back and just stand on what you say and mean it, or you got to clarify those things. Because from a franchise point of view, Joe Burrow is the franchise. So you can't say that you ain't having fun and all this other stuff. People go look at it like he ain't having fun in Cincinnati because they sucked the last 3 years.
And it ain't a good look if he choose to move on. It's gonna be a bad. They're gonna be like, well, you go dog us like you did Cincinnati.
Yeah, but people are acting like they don't even remember what it was like pre Joe Burrow here.
And you know what? A lot of people don't. But all I know is that Joe has. I do too, but Joe has to. But just because we remember how bad it was, don't mean that we got to sit back and let Joe just sit there and just do this, that, another. Because he's doing exactly what Carson Palmer did. Once Carson Palmer started slipping a little bit and the fans started getting on him, now I think they took it a little far. What they said that they started throwing trash and stuff in his yard and stuff. But once you start doing that, it makes it tough for people wanting to come here.
You put trash on my front lawn.
I feel you. I said they took it too far.
And I did work in Carson Palmer's house before. I have.
And it's year 8 too. It's the same year. It's the same.
You don't just walk in Indian Hill and do that. Was an inside job, but anyway.
But look, but that's what I'm saying though. Like Joe has to know if you were frustrated with the organization, then you got to stand on it. You can't come back after you see this whole media storm that happened for the past couple of weeks and then try to do it because now it's like you're playing cleanup. If you didn't really mean what you said, and as soon as things start going left, you got to get out there. Hey, y'all tripping, y'all bugging. I didn't mean it like that. I'm talking just about my injury. It's not fun to continue to come back from injuries for the past however many years I done had to do this. I like being in Cincinnati. I like being in Cincinnati. I like being the quarterback for the Bengals, and I'm here to turn it around. That's what he should have said once he started getting spent out of control. Now you dead all the noise. But no, he let it go because it gave him an opportunity to look like the victim and look like, oh my God, it's just me here and I'm doing all of this stuff by myself and they're not doing anything for me and this, that, and other. And now you got everybody getting an opportunity to say, man, we need to get Joe out of here. And then if we want to fix things, you gotta have your leader standing on it and being like, listen, I'm here.
So speaking of fix things, like Nate tried to ask.
You fire Duke and you fire Zach. You got to do that. If you don't do that at the end of this season, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad.
Well, I know who for the past several episodes I've highlighted, and I will impersonate his voice at some point this episode again, who I would like to see be the head coach. But Will, who would you like to see be the head coach and the director of player personnel if you could choose for the Bengals next year?
Oh, I like Louis Riddick. I like that choice, but I'm going with Marvin Lewis. I want Marvin Lewis to come back and be over player personnel, drafting, and all those things. I want somebody who bleed orange and black to get here and help turn this around, especially with the draft process. Coach, I think there's many different ways that you can go with coach, right? I think John Gruden, in my opinion, for a quick fix.
Yeah, he's number one on my list.
He'd be number one on my list is John Harbaugh. For a quick fix, it's John Harbaugh, but he ain't leaving there. He ain't leaving. Hey, don't nobody in NFL history. Jim. I'm sorry. I meant Jim. I'm sorry. I was about to say, don't nobody in NFL history turn a franchise around faster than Jim Harbaugh. I don't care what nobody say. He make you relevant in 2 years. And with the talent we got, the Bengals will be a Super Bowl contender.
Hey, you going to make that damn Knicks have to throw up.
I don't care. And you know what? If he came here and won a Super Bowl, he wouldn't have no problem. But
hey, you know, we should go get Matt Patricia.
I don't know.
He do a good job there in Cincinnati.
I think Matt Patricia
coordinator, yes.
Yeah,
coordinator. I give it that.
If you're gonna give a first,
oh my God!
If you're gonna give a first, because they're gonna try to. If the Bengals get a new coach, they're not gonna go out to a big name. If I'm them, I'm going out to Joe Brady.
Trick.
Who?
Joe Brady, offensive coordinator at Buffalo.
Trick.
Who was Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow's OC in LSU.
Okay. I hear you, G Money. Okay. Trick.
I'm telling you what they gonna think.
We ain't good, dude.
Trick, if you could choose the next head coach and de facto general manager, player personnel for the Bengals, who would it be next year?
It's a long shot, man. But we need somebody like Gruden. I know he's not in the business no more, but we need a tough guy. We need somebody that can hold the players accountable.
I
Like
Who
think he
gonna be
open for
respected?
that job,
Zach
bro. I ain't
Taylor
even gonna
getting
hold you. I think he open. If that job become open, I think John Gruden open for it.
They ain't gonna pay him.
we continuously every week listen to a guy get on the podium and say, "Oh, we just didn't play good this week," or "Oh, we didn't do this," or "We didn't do that." But like, what are you doing to make changes Wednesday through Friday?
Yeah. Those changes happening.
Let me get my voice together. Well, for the past couple episodes, I've been talking, man, about who I'd like to see be the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Born and raised in the state of Ohio, I could get Joey Burrow and that offense together, make him get the ball out of his hands a little bit sooner in my West Coast offense. Have a weapon like Jamar Chase and T. Higgins out there, man, and Mike Gesicki at tight end. I think it would be a perfect marriage. People want to talk about I'd be a top-level choice, and I'd be a little bit on the expensive side. Well, man, I've been out of the game for a few years now, and I might take a hometown discount from Katie Blackbird and Mike Brown just to get back in the NFL. You got to at least try, man.
Mm.
So, I think
Shut
John
up, Al, with the Gruden. Shut up, Al.
I think John Gruden, for a number of reasons, from a football X's and O's standpoint, a tough guy. He still pretty young as far as head coaches were concerned, even with the amount of time that he's had, because he got his first head coaching job at 32 for the Oakland Raiders.
Yeah.
So he's not burnt out. You see the passion that he has for it in his programs and his podcasts and platforms that he has. I mean, just think about him with Joe Burrow and that offense. And like you said, I don't care if it is Joe Burrow or anybody else. Y'all want him to be held accountable. John Gruden will certainly do that. But from a player personnel standpoint, if we're really going to have somebody like a Duke Tobin and for all intents and purposes say that he makes GM-like decisions, and we don't know because we're not down there. We don't know how much still goes across Ms. Blackburn's desk or what Mr. Brown still has final say on.
Everything going across their desk.
Yep, everything is.
Okay, I don't want to get into that. All I'm saying is, if you're going to have somebody as a general manager and empower them to actually do their job, I agree with Will. We all know my first choice would be Louis Riddick, but
I think he's all of our first choice on here.
But Marvin, I know T said no. Marvin, you have to understand, rarely missed with his drafts, unless it was a guy getting injured or hurt off the field.
He missed one.
Something, trouble off the field. Well, he missed Boygie and Jake Fisher for sure.
That makes sense. John Ross is the one he missed.
Yeah, he never seemed too keen on John Ross to begin with. So I wonder if that was one that came from upstairs. But you also have to understand the importance of being able to work with the Brown family and understanding their quirks and how to get things done. There's a method to the madness. Even in corporate America, they say playing the game. Marvin is the one that set the platform for them to loosen up a little bit to the degree that they've done with Zach now. Like, we can't skip over that. When Marvin came in the building, they were still charging players for Gatorade.
If Marvin got the freedom that Zach got, we might already have a Super Bowl.
Nah, if Marvin had Joe Burrow, we have a Super Bowl. If Marvin
had
has
Carson
Joe Burrow,
Palmer.
if Marvin has Joe Burrow, we have a Super Bowl.
What was wrong with Carson?
But we know what the difference
Carson don't
is.
get hurt. If Carson don't get hurt, we might have had a Super Bowl that year too.
Oh, I 100% agree. But we know what the difference is. We talked about that many times on here. Carson Palmer is the most physically gifted and talented quarterback that the Bengals have ever had, in my opinion. But even he does not have, and it's going to sound funny saying this now, the mental toughness of a Joe Burrow. Because I've said this before, and I stand on it like T said. You know how LeBron winning that championship for Cleveland was the equivalent of another player winning 3 or 4 in another franchise? If Joe was to get one,
no,
it is
Negative.
the equivalent. Easily.
You
can say no all you want. It is the same, because all the stuff that comes with being a Cincinnati Bengal and all the stuff that we just highlighted here, and not even cleaning the damn, snow off the seat, and just stuff that people don't see behind the scenes that makes it hard. And I hate to admit this because it makes people like Stephen A. and the rest of them happy, but it's the truth. All the stuff that makes it hard to be a Cincinnati Bengal and makes it a unique environment as an NFL player. This is not a normal franchise. They don't run things the way that everybody else does. It's more of a mom and pop organization. And honestly, they don't care what we think. I'm not saying that every one of the other 31 ownership groups does, but they make it very obvious here that they don't.
Well, I think right now they're in a peculiar situation because the Bengals, I don't believe, have ever been under this much fire and this much pressure. So I really do think that they have to make a change. They have to do something different. They gotta catch up with the times. I believe that you're begging for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase to ask for a trade, bringing Zach back. Listen, Jamar Chase saying every interview,
bruh.
Hey, listen, we need a change. Something needs to
change. He done said everything but come out and say it exactly.
He done cussed him out on the sideline, and every time they ask him, something need to change. We need to change. we need to change.
Udo is not on it right now, bro.
He know he know what is needed. Like when you are good and you have accepted being good, you want to be pushed to being great. And when you are great, you want somebody to keep you and elevate you to be great. He knows they need another voice in that locker room. He needs to be pushed in a way that's going to elevate his game. The guys around him need to be held accountable. This is another, like, you could just tell. And it's falling on deaf ears, man. Like, his message is falling on deaf ears at this point. And when you are a franchise, they run this like it's a high school program. In 4 years, these guys are going to be gone. So then we could bring in four and no, this is your franchise. These guys are supposed to be here for life. You got to listen to them and you got to make that move. Like, you can't waste Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Like, we wait.
Well, we're in danger of doing it. And the one thing I will say, as far as giving some kudos to the Brown family, they may not be holding up their end to the bargain now as far as supplementing that talent with what's needed to get to the next level and get back to competing for Super Bowls again. But there were those that said that they weren't going to do that from the beginning. It was just last summer where they were talking about, there's no way that they resign Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. T said in danger, it's already done. Well, I mean, I could make that argument too, but Joe Burrow will be 30 next year, so we don't have as many years as people think. And we've seen these windows come and go as far as, teams here, whether it's the Carson and Chad era, the AJ and Andy era. Like, they really have to do something now. And that's why I'm urging right now, if I don't want to see Vance Joseph, because I can see the Bengals doing something like that.
Yeah.
I think we need a new defensive coordinator also. Now, I'm not bashing Al Golden because considering the garbage that they've given him to work with this year, when I told everybody that Lou Anarumo was being scapegoated last year, I don't think Al Golden's done a bad job schematically. He's just got a few players out there that aren't NFL caliber starting players. And at the end of the day, when you draft a guy that's had 4.5 sacks in 3 or 4 years of playing college football, when you waste a pick on a Miles Murphy, as I mentioned at the time, and I won't throw any of my friends under the bus who wanted to argue because they just want to drink the Kool-Aid every time the Bengals do something instead of being honest, you can't miss on these top level players and expect to remain at the top. Another guy that I'm going to go after, and I know Triggs is going to shake his head. You waste the first round pick on a Dax Hill, who has underperformed.
So I'm glad you brought that up.
Here we go.
I'm glad you brought that up. But so they didn't necessarily waste a first round pick on him. He's just in a bad position. Dax Hill didn't get drafted in the first round to be a 1 or 2 cornerback. Dax Hill had success at one of the best universities in the country being a nickelback, guarding tight ends. he didn't have a great year guard number 1 or 2 wide receivers.
He was drafted to replace Jesse Bates. Okay.
That's what they should have kept his ass. Now they got him on the outside
He
guard.
wasn't good at safety, man. He wasn't. Not in
He
the
is a
NFL.
nickel back.
You gotta blame Cam Taylor-Britt for Dax Hill. I
He
agree
a
with
nickel.
Triggs. He was supposed to be in the nickel.
He a
Cam
nickel,
Taylor-Britt
bro.
was supposed to be CB1, and I'm better than him right now.
Oh, that's dumb. My God.
Dax is a nickel.
Hey, watch out, Nate. Chill out, bro.
Dax if you watch the tape in Michigan, he played what they call the Mike McDaniel. He was the Viper. He's the nickel.
It's not hard to look good when you know what's coming ahead of time.
Yeah, he wasn't part of that. That's just like when they had Jabril Peppers playing the Viper. Nobody drafted Jabril Peppers and made him a 1 or 2 cornerback. They put him in the nickel, and he'd been in the NFL for 12, 13 years in the nickel.
Leon Hall, he is not.
That's not what he played in college. That's what you got to understand.
Leon Hall did everything.
Yeah, Leon did, but Dax Hall ain't Leon Hall. You just said that.
Thank you.
He played the nickel. If he was playing the nickel right now, he was guarding tight ends.
Why am I saying that?
Yeah.
Because that's the only player from that team up north that I've seen pan out for the Bengals over the past 20 years.
Okay. I got you.
That's
DJ Turner don't exist?
What about it?
You got it.
We just want to have something to say, man.
What's Chris Jenkins doing in the middle?
Well, I just said we need defensive tackles. Chris Jenkins wasn't one of them either. Who they talk about? Mason Graham.
And Kenneth Graham.
Kenneth Graham. Chris Jenkins So that's
not for everybody that thinks I'm biased. I thought those were hellacious players. You know, I'll tell you when a Michigan guy is good. But that's not. I just don't believe the guys that we brought in are.
You blaming the name for that. That's the Bengals front office fault for not watching the film.
That's
right or wrong.
They have
and
one.
That's why they leave. Exactly. They got to get more scouts, more draft people. You got to do those things.
They got to quit going off trends and saying, "Oh, this guy played for Georgia or LSU or Michigan, so he has to be." No, he ain't got to be.
But hold on. But they had this same amount when Marvin was the coach, right?
Same amount of what?
Like people in the draft room, and they had more.
They had less when Marvin was there.
That's why you got to bring Marvin back, because I don't remember outside of John Ross. I don't remember a pick Marvin wasted.
Abwegi. Cedric Abwegi.
Yeah. But that made sense at the time. The offensive line was cool, but they was
getting old. It would have made perfect sense if him and Jake Fisher panned out and became replacements for Whitworth and Andre, but they didn't.
Yeah. And why did they let Whitworth go though? Another front office blunder. Why would you let Whitworth go?
Well, I think Whitworth wanted to go.
We've discussed
Whitworth was done with us. He was done with us.
He wanted to go and compete for a Super Bowl.
No. I won't say that he was done, but the Bengals weren't willing to give him the guaranteed money that he wanted at age 35. And it became a business decision like they're getting ready to make with what's my man? Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Now
they gotta Trey gotta go. Trey ain't panning out.
But everybody always goes back to that Whitworth decision, and it did come back to bite him in the butt, but they understand at a certain point that a guy has more upside or not. Yeah. And I think
but when Whitworth left, what did he go do? He went to go play tackle and won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I know. But when I think about that situation though, it just didn't work out in their favor.
It never work out in their favor.
It just yes it does.
You can't say that. You can't say that because they went to the Super Bowl, so you can't say it didn't work out in their favor. They just didn't win the Super
Well,
Bowl, but you can't say it
well,
didn't work out. But
Well,
I
but
do
you
the
know they
you
need to
man
keep
that
you
you let
could
go,
you
the
could
man
keep
that
it.
you let go and
You can
played
keep
11
that. You can
years
keep that 50-50 because Joe Burrow was probably one of the most hit quarterbacks, even in the
and
year when
played
he went to the
11
Super Bowl.
years on this team. He played 11 years on this team and he went and won a Super Bowl elsewhere. Okay, so it's fine. Whitworth had more than the average career by 2 or 3 spans here. Okay, he played here. He gave his blood, sweat, and tears here. They decided, man, you don't have as many years left going forward. We're not willing to give you, that money at age 35. Okay, so he was the outlier because most of
I
the
agree.
time it works out exactly the way the Bengals are thinking. How many
I
games
do
did Trey Hendrickson play this year?
think 2, 3
Yeah,
maybe.
2 or 3. He ain't playing many.
He's
I
not
do
going to
think they
get
need
better at this point in his career.
I do think they need to keep the offensive line coach though. I like him. Offensive line have been all right this year. I know a lot of people don't want to give him their credit, but offensive line have been all right this year.
Well, this might be the first year in Joe Burrow's career where he has an offensive line that ranks outside of the bottom 5%. If everybody wants to blame him for getting hurt, I want you to think about that. He's never played with
Yeah,
the offensive line that ranks out of the bottom 5% of the league. Never.
yeah, but some of them sacks got to do with him.
Is it him or play caller?
Both.
Hey, you know what? I'm believing this play caller because me and you just sit here and just watch them try to get Joe Burrow killed at the end of the first half. Hand the ball off, man. In the half. They dropping him back, getting smacked. No, ain't gonna try to make a play.
I'm sure
And
you got invited over wheels to watch the game.
No, it wasn't an invite, man. Even though it was circumstantial.
He ain't never invited me over there to see the piano or nothing, man.
And we was going over game. We was going over game notes, man. You know what I mean? We had things to do, man. We on the run, baby. Right now, we got things to discuss.
I happened to drive down the street one day and I see the whip parked out there and I was messing with him afterwards. I said, "Dang, Will, I ain't know you lived on such and such, blah blah blah." He was like, "Yeah."
He less than a quarter mile, ain't he?
Yeah, man. He ain't even 2 minutes from me, bro.
that's great.
He ain't even 2
Quarter
minutes
mile,
from me.
that ain't nothing.
No, but look,
So real fast. Since we on the top of the Bengals, and I've asked a few people this in this week because I like to debate sometimes. Not Joe Burrow? Is Jamar Chase the best wide receiver in Bengals history? Ooh, let's stir the cup up. Let's stir it up. Come on, I need to know.
Man.
Nigga, I told you.
Yeah, I
I'm
know your
gonna say
opinion.
yes, because he the only
I
one that
need
got
to.
a triple crown.
Yes, Lord.
I'm gonna say yes because he got the triple crown.
If
Even
we
if
say
even
best,
even it being in his early career, I'm gonna say yeah.
I feel stumped like when old boy called the radio station said, "Hey, Sugar Free, is she standing outside? Is she outstanding?"
I mean, but the thing is, it's a. You got him, you got Chad, you got AJ, you got Carl Pickens. I mean,
Hey man, somebody went back to some receivers in the '90s and the '80s, man. Uh, Isaac Curtis.
yeah, man,
Curtis,
Isaac
boy,
Curtis,
I forgot about
Hollywood,
somebody,
Curtis.
crybaby.
somebody say Darnay Scott. No.
Nah, hey,
Hey,
hey
now
man,
Darnay was
stop
my
playing.
guy though. I love
Darnay was my
Darnay.
guy too. I rock with Darnay too, but Darnay wasn't better than Carl Pickens, man. You know what I
But
mean?
Now, people don't talk about Carl Pickens enough.
yeah, for
In
real.
history. I think Jamar Chase is the best wide receiver. I wanted to for a couple years not give him that moniker because I'm like, man, you got to let it play out. You got to let it play out. But unless he gets hurt or asks for a trade, he's going to break Ocho's records. But here's the thing: AJ would have broke those records too if he didn't get hurt.
That's the
If
fact.
he had a better quarterback,
Oh well, that too.
So this one of the reasons why I say he's probably the best wide receiver is because when he catches the foot, one he's open. Like I mean, I don't understand how like your number 2 wide receiver can be out, and then you roll the coverage to one guy and he's still open. That's number 1. And then number 2, when he catches the football, I have yet to see one defender take him to the ground.
Jamar Chase turns into a very elusive, almost running back type player when he gets the ball.
So his yards after the catch is outrageous.
Yeah, they say he's like top 2, ain't he? After the catch.
But he said when he got drafted that he was going to rip up every record book, wide receiver record for the franchise. And I just laughed when he said it. I'm like, all right, young fella, you got to get to 10,000 yards just to catch Ocho. But he's got a hell of a start. And I know I know in my heart of hearts he is the best wide receiver in football right now. Which is a shame that we're letting this go to waste right now. But I want to answer Nate's question and then we can move on because we got a couple more things before we get out of here. I believe that the top emphasis should be on defense. Probably the first 3 picks of the draft, I think, should be devoted towards defense again because let's be honest, we flat out wasted a pick with Shamar Stewart. Like, can we be honest about that?
Yeah, we did.
That's not going to work out.
I mean, we should have picked my son. We should have picked my son.
But like you said, how can you draft a guy that only had 4.5 sacks, man, in 4 years? I mean, we could have went to FBS. You could have went to the FBS and got that.
Somebody had FBS for that.
we could have got that in the second round.
Yeah,
because we got fooled by the underwear Olympics again. And that combine performance. And everyone said, stay away from guys like this that had these monster combine workouts, but don't have the productivity or the tape, more importantly, to match it.
Should have picked my son, man. Will Johnson from Michigan should have been our pick at that spot, bro.
I think Walter Nolan was the pick and who the Bengals would have picked.
And they froze up.
Get picked one pick ahead of them.
Yep,
that's another thing that we never do. That other organizations like Pittsburgh and other teams, like when they have
don't go and get that guy
that they want, they will trade up, do what they need to do to get up there again. We hope that guys fall into our lap.
Yeah. Listen, if it ain't a clear-cut D tackle on that board that you want, you're going to get Caleb Downs, baby.
Got to go get Caleb Downs.
You're going to get Caleb Downs, baby.
He need to be
You're going to get Caleb Downs. If you got to trade up, you're going to get him.
Yeah, well, you got to be our
first. Please go get Caleb Downs.
I want Caleb Downs.
Get him out of the
Now here's why though. The teams that have won Super Bowls in our division, the AFC North, both of them had Hall of Fame safeties, and Troy Polamalu and the great Ed Reed. I think it matters more than people realize. I think safety is one of those positions that has been purposely downgraded and devalued over the past few years, but it still matters.
You don't really
difference even from Jesse Bates not being here and the amount of field that he used to take away back there.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, man, you don't realize how important it is. You ain't got it.
I mean, just think about it. When the Broncos was at their best, man, they had great safety play.
Steve Atwater,
John Lynch.
Yeah, John Lynch was on that team. Yeah.
But you know what? I think the Bengals need to get aggressive. And I don't know if Joe's throwing subliminals out there or not, or what the purpose for some of this stuff is. I've mentioned it before. I think we need another 1998 draft. I don't even remember how the Bengals got 2 first-round draft picks that year, but you need to find a way to
gotta figure it out. Yeah.
If it's a sign and trade, I don't think nobody will give a one for Trey Henderson at this point, but you need to find a way to get you to Keo Spikes and Brian Simmons in the same draft. You need to find a way to get you what's the edge rusher down there from Miami along with Caleb Downs, or you need Trace is gonna love this. You need Caleb Downs and Arvell Reese in this same draft.
Take both of them.
No problem.
You need to find a way to make that happen because the Bengals aren't going to be aggressive enough in free agency to fill some of these holes. So that's why we can ill afford to miss on draft picks.
See, this is why if I'm Joe and I'm Jamar, I'm going to say, hey, listen, this is what we need to happen. I'm going to sit in the office. This is what we need to happen. And need to go boom, boom, boom. Like, we need to be we need to be a real franchise. We're not a real, like, they need to go to the office and they don't need to say it on the podium. They need to go to the office and make it be known.
Well, I know Uno won't mind doing it.
He dying it. This is what I said. The best and the worst thing happened this year because Jamar Chase became more vocal, and I don't mind him being vocal, bro. He say Joe went down, Jamar had to be more vocal, and he was good at it. And then another thing, like if we want Zach going, we had to lose. Because the worst thing that could have happened is us sneaking to the playoffs.
Yeah. I told people that. And not that I sit here and want the Bengals to lose, because that's never.
Yeah, I never want them to lose. I wanted them to go to the playoffs, but
no, not with this team. I didn't want them to go 9-8 and backdoor into the playoffs and lose in the first round, because that's not what we were excited for or wanting this year. Like, we came into this season, whether we should have or not, with Super Bowl or bust aspirations.
True that.
Hey, the crazy thing is, we still could have won the division 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah.
We still, bro. You don't lose to the I'm a firm believer in karma, man. You can't lose to the Jets and think that you're gonna make the playoffs like that, bro. You can't lose how you lost to the Cleveland. I mean, not Cleveland, Chicago, and think you're gonna make the playoffs, man. Like, bad teams do those
Chicago
things.
ain't necessarily a bad team, Coach.
You don't give up no last-second touchdown like that.
They're not, but we shouldn't have lost that game based on.
You shouldn't have lost that game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I agree with you.
At the end of the day, Will's right. The best thing that could happen, even from a draft standpoint. I don't think the Bengals are going out there tanking or trying to. That's not why somebody like Joe Burrow have. But, I mean, let's be real about this. We could use a top 10 draft pick.
For sure.
Let's not go on a run and pick it 16 or 17 again and be like, oh, well, we got to hope somebody falls in the draft or something that could be an immediate impact player. That's not what we need right now. We need a Caleb Downs.
Yes, we do.
Come in and immediately transforms
whoever you draft has to start. They can't be a rotational piece. They got to come in and start.
Yeah, it can't be a project.
Yeah. And that was my whole issue with the Shamar Stewart thing. Like, you drafted at best what was going to be a project for a slot that you needed an immediate impact player in. Well, one thing is for sure. We just live here, and the Brown family owns that team. So they are going to do what they want to do, and I've had to wrap my mind around that all this time that I've spent on this earth, and I just hope they get it right for our sake and for theirs. But we have a lot that needs to go right, and my whole point was talking about Joe Burrow and acting like he's the problem wasn't one of them. So the champ retired, pound for pound great Terrence Bud Crawford at 42-0, the only man in the four-belt era to win the undisputed title in two different weight classes, at junior welterweight 140 and at welterweight 147. And then he made history again earlier this year, doing it against Canelo and winning super middleweight title, jumping up two weight classes. So I want to give a shout out to the champ and thank you for illustrious career, overcoming the odds out of Omaha, Nebraska. I remember Nate, one of the only times Nate ever really got real deal mad at me was when I was out at his house and he whooped Spencer's ass.
I'm saying I was mad. I wasn't mad. I was sorry.
Yeah, y'all should have seen this dude.
I knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, I'm like, damn, I ain't see him losing like that. That's all it was. I wasn't
I
mad
felt Bud would take control eventually, but I didn't see it to that degree the way it panned out.
Yeah, that's all. I didn't.
The only thing I hate is when people try to cheapen it and say, "Oh, well, Spencer's." Stop. That's just like when Manny Pacquiao after Floyd got hit. Oh, my shoulder, you lost. Okay. And
What do you say? What do you say? What do you
my
say?
shoulder, you lost, man. And in boxing, more so than any sport, you have to sign off saying you're physically okay to perform in this event before the fight. And if you didn't mention it then, I don't want to hear it when you get in the ring. That's why I got so much respect for people like Andre Ward and even Keith Thurman, who people always talk about, throw stones at, because they've had inactivity at different points of their career. Don't hop in there if you ain't ready to go.
I think Keith Thurman need to retire though. He don't need to be fighting no more.
Well, now, but he just tried to fight dude for the 154 title.
There's no point if you're not physically able to do it anymore.
We don't know that though.
He's not physically able to do it.
His opponent got hurt, not him. It wasn't Keith Thurman that got hurt and delayed this fight.
Yeah, you're right.
I know that, but I just don't think he's physically able to do it either. I'm just being that last fight I seen, he did what he was supposed to do, but he did at the end of the fight, he started looking like it was going to get turned for the worse.
What I don't understand about the Keith Thurman hate is this man literally was the unified welterweight champ of the world, and his only loss is to Manny Pacquiao.
That's a fact.
His only losses to Manny Pacquiao. People act like he's somehow disgraced the sport. Or
Manny Pacquiao was 700 years old when they fought. That's why.
He beat Joe Lewis's ass. Listen, at the end of the day, I seen Pacquiao take several years off and almost beat this kid a few months ago.
And that wasn't even a draw. He won that fight, to be honest.
Pacquiao is different. And that's my whole point.
They just took it away from him.
You say that, Will, but he's literally the definition of an all-time great. And that's the only person that's beat Keith Thurman. He beat Showtime.
Manny Pacquiao remind me of George Foreman in the welterweight division.
Keith Thurman beat Showtime Porter before some of these other people like Terrence Crawford got to him after that. He was the first person to beat Danny Garcia when Danny Garcia was undefeated. I've always thought that Keith Thurman was a hell of a fighter. But anyway, no, I just wanted to give a shout out to Bud Crawford on a heck of a career. I hope you stay retired, man. Don't get lured.
I think he's doing the right thing. He's going out the right way.
Yeah. I know he had some choice words for the WBC and didn't want to fight that behind the scenes battle. So, Nate, you got a game Friday?
Yeah, I'll be back home by
That's why.
No, I'm asking. What's wild about asking? Does he have a game Friday?
Because it took him 3 days to answer.
No, I had to think about it. I didn't know if we played Friday or Saturday. That's what I was thinking.
And that's tomorrow. Hey, listen. All I know, I wish my sisters would take that long to ask about a game the next day.
I wasn't there.
Next day.
I didn't already watch film and everything. I wasn't there.
Nigga talking about, that's crazy.
It's always Will Johnson. It's always Will Johnson. I tell you, bro.
But that's crazy, though, Nate. Friday is tomorrow.
I wasn't even thinking about hoop. I wasn't even thinking about our hoop stuff, bro. Why I gotta be all that, man?
Hey, you're right, man. My apologies.
Party at Nate's
That's why I left Schroeder, man. He the reason, bro. He the reason, bro.
Party at Nate's house so we can watch Anthony Joshua in this facade of Jake Paul.
Is it scripted?
I got Jake Paul winning.
See why Tank got out of there. He said, if it's scripted, it's over with.
Is it scripted?
I don't know. I'm scared to say yes and I'm scared to say no.
I saw him give a hand signal to that MMA guy that he knocked out before he did that. Yeah, or whoever his name. No,
and we know the Tyson fight was scripted.
Yeah, we know Tyson was scripted than a motherfucker.
I don't think Anthony Joshua would take the bag to do that.
Nah, because his rep on the line.
Especially after his last performance and the way he got slumped by Dubois.
Yeah, his rep is on the line right now.
You can't lose
if he's
to a makeshift.
Or he's sitting
you
down.
Can't lose to a makeshift professional Anthony Joshua.
And the crazy thing is they're saying it's a sanction. So if it's a sanctioned fight, I'm gonna be pissed off.
No, it's a sanctioned fight, but listen, I wish things were different for me, and I won't get into detail because I was supposed to be at the Dolphins-Bengals game down there, and this would have been a hell of a fight to catch it. Is Nori going? Do you know?
I don't need to. I need to ask. I don't know if he's going or not. Ever since the store got broken into, I don't know.
Yeah, I know he was pissed about that. Sorry to hear that, brother. He posted that picture online, man. I'm like, why people gotta be so ignorant, man? Broke into that man's store, left all that glass on the floor.
Yeah, he had to go
to his car,
clean it up. Nah,
he broke in his Skyline, his store.
Oh.
Yeah, he had to go down there at like 2 a.m, clean it up and smoke. Had to call the people and get new glass.
Well, you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about that. It's insured, and that corner got 4 cameras. Hey, okay.
Yeah, that's a fact. They do got hella cameras right there.
Did they take anything?
Triggs would know.
Well, unfortunately, the company I've worked for the past, 10 years, you tend to find those things out.
The Cheesecakery is closing here in Madisonville.
I seen that.
Man, that's crazy.
It's talking about because she's been losing business and homeless people have been harassing her customers and so forth. And I'm not making light of that. I don't know how much of that is really the case and really driving that. But what I will say as a lifelong Madisonville resident, honey, if this Madisonville bothers you, it makes you uncomfortable.
Because this is
she just in a bad location. Really, if she was down on Red Bank, she would do a good job.
It's the winter time, man. Business was booming and bunking in the spring and the summer.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I was thinking that.
But I mean,
business was booming in the summer, bro. That line used to be packed. I used running past that line used to be through the roof, bro. It's the winter time. You can't blame it. It's seasonal. Sorry.
Yeah,
if this Madisonville makes you uncomfortable, honey, you couldn't have survived in the one that me, Triggs, and Nate grew up in more than a week.
Oh.
We'd have had free cheesecake.
Yep, every day.
I call bull on that, bro.
That's wild.
I like cheesecake and I'd have free ones.
I call bull on that, man. I'm more so agreeing with Will, and there's a lot of shops like that specialize in cheesecakes and donuts and desserts and stuff within such a close radius. That's probably playing a factor also.
Yeah.
Don't be trapped in my neighborhood like that because we didn't ask you to come in and gentrify to begin with.
Yeah, like
now you see, Will, he got to turn the camera off because I said something truthful.
Yeah, that's seasonal. This ain't the time of year for cheesecake, for real. Be honest.
After Thanksgiving, it's over.
On you or our alma mater or your basketball program, man. You good. I'm saying it. The usual lightning rod.
What's your record, Triggs and Will?
First place.
That's a good answer. I ain't gonna hold you, but I was trying. Yeah.
A lot of hard work, bro. That's what the record is.
When is the next game, Will?
The next game is December 29th. It's in Kentucky,
though. We cross state lines for our next game.
Yeah. But we'll be back January 3rd at Bishop Fenwick. and then we'll be at home on January 6th against CCPA. But right now we're 4-1. We still got a lot of work to do. A lot of work to do. Guys are playing. We're playing hard. We got to get a little more discipline. If we really want to make a run, but the effort is there. The effort is definitely there. More so than any year I've been there on a consistent basis. We just gotta tie it all together. We gotta be more disciplined though.
I'm not saying that it couldn't change, but my first game back. Don't try to put me to work with.
No. You've been permanently replaced.
Good.
But no. We got we got that taken care of. Nah, man, you come back, just sit there, be a fan, man. We need it, man.
That's all we got to support my guy.
We got a 9-game tough stretch coming up, man.
11. We got a mean 11 game, 11 game stretch where it's gonna really show where we at. It's really gonna show where we at. If we leave that 11 games and we leave that with a little positive record.
So basically, you said that the permanent replacement is able to get all the assists, rebounds, and steals too on the stat sheet.
Oh, but nah, she just take care of what's on the stat sheet. We got somebody. She just take care of what's on the book. We got somebody sitting there doing the stats, man. You know what I'm saying? We all right.
Got the girl back?
Yeah, man. Not your quarter. But Trig's still on the sideline bullying me.
Oh my God.
He over there bullying me, man.
Man, you just
know my guys. My guys been waiting.
We make really good adjustments, man. That's how we do. We don't,
Hey, listen. All I know is when we argue on the sideline, we done had good games.
That's it. Even in the effort yesterday, in which man, listen, wait, some program.
You about to walk out?
No. We were playing against an opponent that wasn't, they just weren't, up to par. And I made a comment, and the head coach turned around, looked at me, and told me how he felt about my comment. But the score, if y'all would have seen the scoreboard, you wouldn't understand why the comment was made to me. It wasn't like we was in a 1 or 2 point game. We were in the 40-point lead. Oh. And I made a comment, and then he turned around and looked at me, and
well,
sometimes when the STF.
Hey, this is the number one thing. If y'all want to see comedy with a coaching staff and seeing the beef on the staff, go to a Schroeder Jaguar.
First of all, we're gonna pause that statement.
That's crazy. That is crazy. Secondly, beef on the sideline is crazy.
What I say? There's no issues. There's no issues with what go on. It's just sometimes the moment be tense, and But you
need somebody to yell at you. You need somebody to tell you tripping.
20 years. That's 20 plus years of friendship.
Yeah, you just need somebody to tell you man, bro, you tripping. You bugging. You should have called that timeout. You messed the run up. Like, you need that. You need that.
I can't wait to.
Hey, Alex, you ever seen the coach call timeout up 11-0?
No. Man, that's crazy work, bro. That's crazy work, bro.
We over there, Mike.
We talking about the team that's up. No,
bro. He knew why I called timeout. He knew. We was going through the motions. It was bad habits that were being created.
Okay.
That's the worst thing that you can have is bad habits in a win.
Yeah.
Because it's gonna be the same thing when we playing somebody that's like we gotta run, man. We got a lot of tough teams, different matchups, man. We gotta continue to get better. Like, I ain't asking them to be perfect. I'm not gonna call a perfect game. I'm not always gonna make the best adjustments. I'm gonna do some stupid stuff, but the habits that we create are important. So when I see them out there BS. Yeah, man.
But I understand everything he's saying, but we had to tuck off film, y'all, for live feed. We can't put everything on this live feed because I don't want that to come back towards us. You know what I mean? But
so, look, I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Remember that you can catch the audio files if you don't want to watch on YouTube or Facebook on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. I appreciate all the support, all the comments, everybody tuning in the live feed. Appreciate my brothers for supporting us. Big John, get your stuff together, get back on here. I spoke to him earlier. He is all right. He just got some stuff to, take care of before he comes back. I look forward to getting back in the gym and watching my beloved Schroeder Jaguars as well, because everybody knows I've had some stuff going on in my personal life that caused me to step away as well. So I'm happy to see my guys and get back in there soon when I do return to this side of the river and have some home games. I'll probably do some away games too, but I want to thank you, gentlemen, for tuning in. The Joe Burrow Haters Anonymous Club out there. Thank you all as well for giving.
Hey, Joe Burrow, man, we rock with you, man. But you can and will be held accountable, man. You don't get to escape leadership because you great. None of the greats get to escape leadership.
I appreciate it because it gives us something to talk about. The college football playoffs is here. We got Roll Tide versus Boomer Sooner tomorrow. Some other games this weekend for everybody that says these are the games that matter.
When y'all play?
Next week, the winner of Miami and Texas A&M.
I think
y'all in trouble. Y'all better hope Texas A&M.
Y'all in trouble.
Say what?
Y'all better hope Miami win. If Texas A&M win, y'all in trouble.
I don't want to.
Miami ready to get their lick back.
They don't. They not.
I know. I'm just looking at his face. I'm just trying to get him. Hey, man, next time my Spurs lose, don't wear the team that beat them wardrobe, bro.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. Y'all just happen to be in the way.
You right.
Oh.
That was real tough, wasn't it?
Damn.
That was real tough.
No, the Buckeyes are fine. Like I said, this was the least concerned I've probably ever been after a loss. I just did not have any issues other than Brian Hartline shouldn't be calling plays anymore if his head is already elsewhere and focus on that job.
But that's another topic we should talk about, because what y'all gonna do now? Because y'all been wide receiver you, and now he left.
Well, there's a couple scenarios that have.
They're trying to get the LSU wide receiver coach.
Yeah, he's been in contact with and may have even had an interview already, from what I've heard.
It's snowing in Ohio. He ain't leaving there.
See, now I was getting ready to sign off, but see, now we got to go back to something, because I'm glad that you brought that up. I am red of people acting like Ohio State, prior to Brian Hartline getting there, hadn't already had the most wide receivers drafted of any school since the year 2000. I'm tired of people acting like they forgot who Chris Carter and Terry Glenn and David Boston and so many others are. Like, we didn't become wide receiver you just because Brian Hartline got there. Like, there is a serious lineage of Ohio State talented wide receivers that predates Brian Hartline. Did he take it into the stratosphere? Yeah.
80% of them guys you just named played in the 90s when we became fans of our beloved universities.
That's what I'm talking about. So again, the history of getting elite wide receivers, and I left people like Joey Galloway off of that list, didn't start with Brian Hartline. They're going to be fine. That's why Chris Henry Jr. decided to still come there. And Legend Bay, his mom forced him to sign his letter of intent to Tennessee, and people found out about it. Mama got embarrassed, and now he's been released from his Tennessee letter of intent and will be signing at Ohio State. So that's another weapon for the room. He's going to be more
They
like.
They just dropped that blue chip bag off of both of them.
That's all it was.
They just dropped that blue chip bag.
I don't understand why he tried to get into our. Yeah, man.
Okay.
They dropped that.
The guys at Mercedes-Benz Dublin and all that. I know what's going on in Columbus.
They definitely did. They definitely did.
Right, people.
Mercedes-Benz of Dublin, you know what I mean? Some of them guys, man, you know what I mean?
He ain't going to Ann Arbor, okay? Braylon Edwards ain't walking through that tunnel, so we forget that.
Yeah. You're right. We got Mr. Marsh.
They're going to the school and the program that spends the most money on its football program and has prior to NIL.
And you want to talk about cheating? You just said it.
What is cheating about the university?
Spending money on players.
I said on their program.
You just said
I didn't say the players.
Well, the players are the program. We know what you're saying.
No, I'm talking about the facilities and the training program and everything else that goes into that, and the marketing and everything else.
Hey, officer, am I the only one that got charged?
It's been that
real quick.
It's been that
clean that up real quick.
It's been that way.
He had to think about what he said.
It's been that way. That's why I don't understand why people go elsewhere. If I'm really a blue chip prospect and I want to be best prepared to possibly go on to the NFL, and even from an academic standpoint,
hey, officer,
I don't understand why you go elsewhere.
Am I only one that got
to the places paying the most money, right?
They're spending the most to make sure that you get the most out of your talent. Yes, that's where I want to go.
Hey,
so is that what NIL doing?
That was a nice cleanup, boy.
No, because again, they spent the most money out of any school in the country on their football program prior to NIL. I just mentioned that several times.
You use Fabuloso with that cleanup, boy.
I don't have to clean it up because it's the truth.
Hey, I feel you, my guy.
It's been that way since the 70s. I mean, what are we talking about?
Hey, let's ask Paul Finnenbaum.
Say what?
Let's ask Paul Finnenbaum.
Well, Feinbaum is biased. Anything that don't occur south of the Mason-Dixon line, he's a bumbling idiot too. And even some of that, as Ric Flair said, he can't be counted on to tell the truth and give correct information with that. He just needs to retire. He said Arch Manning was the best quarterback prospect the past 25, 30 years. And yeah, all right.
Oh yeah, he was smoking that good Getty Green. That was on the Project Pack cover, boy. That is wow.
So again, folks, we're gonna go on and sign off. Appreciate everybody for stopping through. It's another episode. We'll try and do it better the next time.
Sure.